Men don't get devastated by the breakup. They get devastated by what the breakup exposes. When she leaves, it's not just her that's gone. It's the structure that you were leaning on that you never built for yourself. This is one that you're going to want to watch fully through. There's so much to unpack here. At the end of this, I'm going to give you the 4 horsemen of predictability of divorce, which is the ultimate breakup. And yes, I have my notes to keep me on track here. I'm also going to tell you what to expect in the early stages after the breakup happens. The big problem is this: men don't build full lives. Oftentimes, they actually attach their identity to their relationship and to their woman. Women always say, "I'm not your property." However, no matter how much they say that, most men, especially if you're in a long-term relationship or you're in a marriage, view their woman as their property. What do I mean by that? Anything that happens to or around their woman, they internalize as happening to or around them. If you're a woman, you're watching this, think of it as your child. When anything happens to or around your child, look at how you operate. Your child is actually another human being, but you look at your child as your property or your responsibility. And that's how men see women. She's my responsibility. She's my property. You don't say property, but if you think about it, if you're being honest, that's how you view it. So what happens when she's gone? When she leaves or you guys break up? Well, first, you lose emotional access. A lot of times, men, we don't have many people that we attach ourselves to emotionally. It's usually just our woman and our kids and maybe our parents. Other than that, there's not really an emotional attachment to the homies, to your friends, to your coworkers. You like them, but there's no real emotional attachment. So when she leaves, a big source of your emotional reservoir is gone. The structure, your daily structure, is now gone. Your routine, gone. Everything that you've been doing over the past couple of years, or maybe even longer, is now going to have to change because she's not there. Everything that she did and she brought into the relationship, into your household, you now have to account for. And a lot of it, to be honest, you probably took for granted. Let's be honest, men. Your woman validated you. We live vicariously, or not vicariously, I don't know if that's the right word, but we live through our women. That's why you want to get a woman that loves you, only is attracted to you, only does things for you, because when you have a woman doing that, she makes you feel special. Because in the rest of this world, nobody else is going to make you feel special. And that's why you're validated by it. Even guys that you see online, they talk about don't let women validate you. They're being validated by a woman. I'll give you one case in point. They'll talk about don't be validated by women. And then they'll talk about the women that they can get. And then another guy says, well, I can get women too. And the first thing you do is say, well, what does she look like? What are we talking about here? I just said I can get a woman just like you can get a woman. Now you're trying to validate the women that I get based on, like, you're trying to validate me based on what you perceive the type of woman that I'm getting is. I'm getting a woman. If the goal is to set out to get a woman, I got one. You got one. Not all women are created equal, but not all looks are the most important thing either. That's how men confuse themselves with saying they're not validated by women. But most of the time, you're going to be validating yourself through your woman, which is why it hurts so bad when she's gone, because in essence, you feel less than. Your sense of purpose. See, this is a big one that people don't really touch on. Men feel empty after they lose their woman that they was with and they really loved and they were with for a long period of time, because a lot of men are content in their relationship. And you hear all this stuff online about live your purpose, go out there and live your purpose, find your purpose and live it. Well, a lot of guys, their purpose is find a woman, a good woman, have children, raise your kids, protect your family, leave a legacy, get old, see your grandkids. That's what a lot of guys' purpose is to them. When the woman is now gone, that cracks the foundation of that man's purpose. Now he doesn't even know what his purpose is, because he never had a purpose outside of that. That was the goal. And he had it, and now he lost it. And so now that's where the total devastation comes in. And this is where a lot of guys feel hopeless. Most men have gone through this. It is a devastating feeling. You can and will come out of it if you allow yourself to. But that purpose part can spiral really bad, and people feel hopeless after that. And that turns into something even worse. Studies show that men tend to be more happy and content in their relationships, and definitely are less likely to want to leave the relationship, mainly because you have a lot more to lose than the woman does. Not to say that the woman doesn't get hurt and somewhat devastated over breakups as well, but according to studies, men tend to be more devastated than women. These guys out here that talk and running game and all of that, they don't realize that us men who've been in long-term relationships can attest to. Your woman actually makes you go to the doctors. I mean, I know I never went to the doctors. If my woman wasn't so adamant about me going to the doctor, I probably would go to the doctor once a year. I mean, now maybe I would go a little bit more now, but honestly, think about it. Your woman is the reason you go to the doctor. She makes sure you check your vitals, your blood pressure, and things like that, right? Women could either oftentimes stop you or lessen the amount of times you drink because they care about your health and well-being. I know a lot of content focuses on women's negative side, but I want to focus on and give praise and props to those women that are not like that, because we never really talk about those women. Maybe because they're few and far between, but they do exist. And since they do exist, we should acknowledge that, and we should give that more praise instead of dismissing it as a one-off and then keep talking about all of the negative things. Okay, so yeah, women, they love you. When they love you, they do care about your health and your well-being, and they'll do things that make you eat better, all kinds of stuff like that. And let's be honest, she is your main source of support. When you're young, it's your parents. When you get older, you get into a relationship, and that relationship passes a certain threshold where it's no longer new, and you guys decide you're going to be together for the long haul, you've had conversations about things that hurt you. You had conversations about your deepest desires, what your goals would be, what you see for you and her, what you see for the kids, who you get pissed at, all of that. You've had all of that. Your main support system is her. And out here in society, in American society at least, we don't have a lot of, like, it's not taught to us to be like vulnerable. And I don't even preach being vulnerable. I mean, if we're being honest, I'm not even sitting here telling you, go out there and be vulnerable with everybody. I'm just stating the facts. We don't really do that. Men don't really do that. If therapy is good for you, if it's good for you, do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to go there. If therapy is good for you, you should do it. If religion's good for you, you should do it. Most of the time, your woman is the only thing that you confide in when things get really bad. And now that's gone. And, to piggyback on that, we're isolated. Once we become grown men and you get into a career, you're isolated. You don't hardly see your family no more. You don't talk to your friends every month. And if you do, you might talk to them, but you don't see them. You are isolated. And you've been isolated for a while. The only people you see is the people at work. If you're religious, the people at your church. If you're not religious, your wife and kids. That's really it. Time to time, occasionally you may go and see your parents, your mother-in-law, father-in-law. You may do something like that. But that's really it. Your friends, you don't see them. And it's rare to keep up with your friends once you settle down. So that makes it difficult now because you lost her and you don't have another outside support system to do that with. And so you turn to YouTube or Google for answers because you don't have anybody else. So I'm going to give you here, we're going to talk about the 4 horsemen. This is not what I just called them. This is what the therapists call them. The 4 horsemen of predictability of divorce. And they say if these things are present in your relationship, there's a higher probability that your relationship won't last. So I think it's important for you who may be still in a relationship and you just came across this video to be aware of these. 1, criticism. That's a given, right? You start attacking the person. But what I mean by that is this. You start instead of attacking the incident, you attack your partner's core system, their being. I'll give you an example of that. You may say something like, I came home and you didn't make my lunch. Did you make my lunch? And she said, well, no, I didn't get to make your lunch. I actually forgot I was doing this and it slipped my mind. I got to do this with the kids and it slipped my mind. And then you say something like, you're just lazy. You're lazy. Or you don't even care about. You don't even understand. See, that's attacking her core being. You called her lazy because of this incident. Those are the types of things you don't want to do. You want to attack a specific incident and not their core being. Don't criticize them as a person. Because if they were really that bad, why would you be with them? They're not that bad. And if they were better and they've gotten bad, you need to watch some of my other stuff so that you can see how that came about. It didn't just come from nowhere. The second one, contempt. A lot of contempt, it kind of replaces your connection with disrespect. Contempt would be more like sarcasm. Sarcasm is a negative tone on a comment. I was a big component of this because I was around sarcasm a lot when I was young. When I grew up, sarcasm was kind of how we talk. Sarcasm is a negative tone to everything. You just expect them to understand that you're joking, but they don't. They don't. And if they did it to you all of the time, you would also feel some type of way about it. Just what it is. Or mocking. If you're mocking them, those types of things are signs of disrespect for the partner that you love. You shouldn't really be doing that stuff if you want to sustain a healthy relationship long term. Defensiveness. This is a big one. We all know this one. This is where you're not taking accountability. You're putting things off on the other person. Even if you did something bad, instead of owning up to what you did bad, you now turn it back to them and say, well, yeah, I might have did this, but remember when you did this? Remember when you did that? So when that happens, there can be no resolve. No resolution can happen when a person's doing that. We're doing the tit for tat. We're too old for that. And the fourth one is withdrawing, the silent treatment. All right, whatever. One word answers, those types of things. And you hate when she does that to you. So when you do that to her, now we're in a problem. Now we're walking the line to breakup. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is going to hit pretty hard. What can you expect from her? If you are one of the lucky people this time and do not have to deal with any of these, consider yourself lucky and blessed. Have gratitude, and you dodged a bullet. For the most of men that's going to go through this breakup, this is super important. Pay attention. This woman that you love, that was your structure, that was your rock, that was the mother of your children, that you told all of your secrets to, your nightmares, your dreams, your insecurities. And if you don't think that she knows them because you didn't tell her what they were, now you're being stupid. Because she knows what they are. If she's been with you long enough, She can tell, she just won't say it to you, that she knows that you're insecure about something. But that same woman is now your enemy. I know. Especially if you're going through this right now, listen to me. She's your enemy. You have to view her as that. Because what I'm about to tell you is all of those great moments that you had with her, those talks, those deep conversations, those intimate moments, they all don't matter to her like they do to you. As a matter of fact, the more that she actually loved you, the stronger your bond was. If it got to where y'all are done now, that same amount of love that she had for you is the exact same amount of disdain and like hatred she has for you now. So you think you're going to somehow play on how much you guys care about each other, and this whatever situation is not bigger than your love for each other. That's not how she sees this. Trust me when I tell you, she does not see it this way. She will, expect this, she will not consider your feelings about anything that has to do with her at all. I promise you this. She's not going to say, well, I can't do that. I can't say that because that's too far. No. Especially in a bad breakup. No. She's not. She might do it because it's a problem for you. I'm not saying every woman will do that, but I'm just stating, I mean, the things that's going to happen in this stage of you guys' relationship is going to be unbelievable to you. Actually, this stage, and anybody who's gone through this, tell me in the comments if I'm lying. The main thing that you're going to say is, I can't believe those are the words you're going to say every time. I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she said that. I can't believe she's this type of person. I can't believe she would do that. That's what you're going to say. I would have never known that she was this type of person. That's what you're going to say. This is, trust me, tell me, if you've had a breakup in a long-term relationship or a divorce, tell me in the comments. I'm telling you, this is the number one thing that I've heard every male say. I can't believe, I never would have thought. This is what you say. This is what we all have said when we've gone through these types of breakups. You're not going to recognize the person that she is becoming right now. Part of that, and I'll just touch on this part, but I won't get too deep into it, but part of that is also, if you had a really long-term relationship with her, and say your whole city knows that you guys are a couple, you guys have been together, everybody knows you, and they start saying your guys' name together, right? They started saying Christy and Terry, and so what happens is her identity is also linked to you, and what oftentimes happens is she goes completely opposite of that, despite that, because she wants to disassociate herself with you. So she is going to become a different person so that she can cut that tie. She can't be the same person that was with you without you. So she's going to be a different version of herself, which means she's going to do things and you're going to say, I don't even recognize this person. You're not going to recognize this person. But when you get to this state, remember, this is common. This is common. She's not like the worst girl ever. She's just a human female, and this is how a lot of times they act. Now, this is not how they all act every single time. We'll get that out the way. But this is more common than not. Now, what not to do when you break up. All right. Here's the things we're not going to do. You're going to want to do them. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to get you anything you want. I don't care if it's you want to get back with her. I don't care if it's you want to see your kids more. I don't care if you want to remain friends. Whatever your goal is, doing any of these things is not going to increase the chances of any of that happening. So don't do them. At least not in the early stages of the breakup. And I'm not really speaking on divorce, the legal aspects of that. I'm just talking about the you and her separating part. Do not text her heartfelt or rage felt texts. They're both going to be the same to her. She does not want to hear from you. She does not want to associate with you. When she thinks about you, pain happens. She doesn't like it, and therefore she really wants to go no contact, and you think you're going to pull in some version of the dominance that you had and show your authority and rage into her and get her to logically understand that this isn't the right thing to do. Or you're going to go think about the pillow talk you guys had and talk about your future and all of that stuff. And, oh, remember when we were over your parents' cabin and all of this nonsense, and think she's going to be like, oh, yeah. No, don't do it. She'll use all of that against you. She'll use all of that as fuel to hate you more. Do not contact her family or friends. This is a big mistake. Don't do it. Don't contact her family and friends. They don't care. They're on her side. They're on her side. They know if she's dealing with another guy. They're not going to tell you she's dealing with another guy. They know her secret. They know things you don't know. Put it to you that way. And for the most part, they may not like you anymore. Because over the course of long-term relationships, people make this one simple mistake. When you have fights, when you guys have fights, they tell their family and friends. And for the most part, their family and friends may like you at the time, but they don't love you. So the more negative things she confides in them about you, the more of a negative outlook they have on you. And you guys may have broken up before and gotten back together, and they didn't agree with that. So she's with you, but her family and friends think she should have moved on. Because they didn't love you, they liked you. And now you've hurt that person that they care about, and now they don't even like you. So you get into this point where it's a relationship, the relationship is really over and she's really done. You talking to them is not helping you. It's not going to. One in a million chance. Not one in a million. 1% chance. Maybe you guys had a common friend that was like literally close to both of you the same way. Maybe that friend could be an enemy, but what is that friend going to do? They're not going to go against her for you. They're just going to talk to you as the friend of you, and then talk to her as the friend of her. They're not going to bring you guys back together. So don't do it. It's just going to hurt yourself. She'll use that too. She'll be like, he's contacting my family. Let's stop doing that. That's what they're going to say that. Like, seriously. This is a big one today's society. Don't monitor her social media. Don't monitor her social media. Don't monitor her social media. You are not ready for what you're going to see on her social media. She's going to be taking shot after shot after shot at you. If she's talking to another guy, you're going to be in shambles, because she's going to be, whether she's pretending or not, she's going to be so happy. This other guy. This guy's going to be the guy that does stuff that you never did. This is what's going to happen. Don't pay attention. The guy might even start trying to bait you because he may be a goofy. And what is a goofy? A goofy is a dude that comes in, talks to a girl, she tells him negative stuff about her ex, and this dude now takes that in as if he's not talking to the ex. What ex talks good about their ex? No one. But this goofy now is like, oh, he's coming to save the day. So he may be ready to crash out. Don't fall into that trap. Advantage men, don't fall into that trap. If you have to deal with this situation in a certain way, you have to deal with it a certain way. But don't get into the back and forth with the goofy. And the best way to not do that is don't monitor her social media. Matter of fact, you might want to get off of social media altogether during this time. That would be the best thing for you to do. Do not suppress your emotions. It hurts. You're going to be hurt. It's going to hurt bad. It's going to be one of the worst hurts you've ever felt. Acknowledge that emotion. Do it in private. Don't go to social media once again and write a whole bunch of posts where people, like the people on social media, can see that you're going through something based on how you're posting. Don't do it. These are things that you probably will regret in the end. You're saying things based out of your emotion. We never operate out of emotion. Management never do that. So go every night. You're at home. You come from your own home and you let it out. I don't care if you have to cry. I mean, we always talk about men don't cry. I'm just saying, however you let it out like that. Because if you're holding it in, there's more self-destructive things that will happen down the line if you try to hold that part in. So you say, well, men don't cry, so I'm not going to cry. Well, that's fine, but don't let it out another type of way, destructive way. This is why some guys say go to the gym, because you're just letting out energy. So that's definitely better than not letting it out a different type of way. So I'm gonna have to make a part 2 of this, so that, because this goes deep. The things you don't want to do, and here's the biggest takeaway from it: the things that you don't want to do. So the 4 horsemen: Pay attention to those. If you're still in your relationship, pay attention to those things. Try to limit the amount of times you do any of those things, okay? I wanted to give you that in this video. I also wanted to give you the things that you don't do if you're broken up currently. If you just broke up with your woman, you just got a divorce, don't do those things either. All right, so I gave you that. I gave you that. Other than those takeaways, I want to make sure that you understand that all of this really derives from not being an advantage man, because you have to take care of yourself and you have to lead your direction. See, if you're leading your own direction and your own path, if somebody joins that, that's great. That's what you desire. If that's what you desire, that's great, because now I have a wife, I have a partner, and we're still on this path. But if that partner now leaves, and every partner will leave in some form, nothing is forever, right? You get older, you pass away, at some point you will lose that partner. But the point is, if you were going in a direction and they left, you still have your direction. You still have the things that you're doing on a consistent basis. That doesn't change. And therefore, you can miss and mourn the relationship, but you don't lose yourself in that process. That is one of the biggest keys. It's how you built your foundation from the beginning. Because if you got to the point where you're content, and you just built your life around her and building a family and building a future with her, it's gonna be difficult for you if you lose that, because you've just effectively lost your future in your mind. And now you have to recalibrate and create a whole different future. And who wants to start over is the question with that, right? But it's better to start over than to call it quits, if you know what I mean. For more content like this, for better training, visit the Man's Table. Join, it's free. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.